Margaret Thatcher, the Iron Lady. In Politician Psyche channel, we examine the political psychology of leaders, and this video is about Thatcher's psychology, who was the Prime Minister of England. According to different research, politicians' psyche has the main role in their decisions. Therefore, we would like to analyze Thatcher's psyche in order to know how she could be a powerful politician. Margaret Thatcher was born in 1925 and died in 2013. She was the Prime Minister of England from 1979 to 1990 and the leader of the Conservative Party. She was the first woman to hold the office. The policies which she implemented were well known as Thatcherism, and journalists wrote she was Iron Lady. Her father had a grocery shop, and she came from a low middle-class family. Her school reports illustrated she was an industrious student, and from her childhood she tried to elevate her social situation through being a hard-working person. Piano, swimming, walking, and hockey were her favorite activities in leisure time. These activities made her a powerful person mentally and physically and prepared her for political future. She was genius and could achieve a scholarship to study chemistry and was known as a good student during college period and graduated in 1947 with a second-class honors degree in chemistry and received a Master of Art in 1950. When she was at Oxford was noted because of isolated and serious personality. Her boyfriend described her as a thoughtful and very good conservationist. These traits stem from her intelligence. She described the situation of her home and recalled her childhood memories about it, and said, "Our home was very small, but it was absolutely clean." The issue signifies the discipline in the house and familial situation. So, tidiness and order were two main columns of her family. She said that my father read a great deal, therefore we read. This fertile situation caused that Thatcher raised an intellectual family, who provided a chance to expand Thatcher's cognitive horizon. Thatcher liked studying and said every Saturday I used to go to the public library and read about politics, philosophy, and novels, and we used to talk about them at the home and read the whole of them. And my father said, "You must make up your own mind," which caused Thatcher had independent perspective about any matter involving politics. She believed that self-education matters and paid attention to flourish her talents by reading many books. Thatcher read for the bar before entering the Conservative Party in 1959. She held junior posts before becoming shadow spokesperson for education and worked as education secretary in 1970. In 1979, the Conservative Party won the election and Thatcher became the Prime Minister of England. From psychological perspective, she was an industrious person and achieved her goals by being a hard-working person. One of her accomplishments in political world was the leadership of country to war against Argentina in Falkland Islands. The Conservative Party won in 1953 and her government pursued a radical program of privatizing the regulation, reform of trade unions and tax cuts. The aim of policy was based on reducing the governmental role and expanding industrial self-reliance. She wrote two books involving Downing Street years and the path to power. When she was a child, she used to enjoy going for long walks, and she loved the beauty of countryside and being with her thoughts and her ideas. This matter gave her a relief to think and expand her cognitive horizon about life and politics. Actually, walking in the countryside had a tranquil effect on her brain. While she was walking, she could provide enough situation to think about anything. She said that when my mother, sister, and I went on holiday together, there was always the same emphasis on being active rather than sitting around daydreaming. They had no alcohol in the house. She enjoyed a healthy lifestyle, and her parents paid attention to her schooling and homework always had to be completed. Therefore, she experienced a perfect upbringing method during her childhood. Like other European politicians of the second half of the 20th century, Margaret Thatcher led her country in order to reconstruct it. But one of the distinguishable matters was that she was a woman. For many of her supporters, especially the young generation of English conservatives, the political measures that she put in political arena represented a political coherence, which was a structured system or ideology was being exported to other European countries. Critics saw the matter from a different perspective. While they admitted her strong personality and charisma, they had a critical attitude toward her because she pursued the most controversial and radical policy based on the neoliberal economists such as Milton Friedman and Friedrich Hayek, who admired the market and money. Overall, her resistance to critics and her tough personality and charisma have been crucial elements for her success. During her political life, she was a prime minister who removed socialism from England. She had a great courage and dedication to her duties and tried to conduct her policy in the best way, regardless of criticism. This tough personality was vital for her success. Her friends said that we admired her energy and determination. Furthermore, her father was the local council, and talking about politics was inseparable from her life. During her interviews, she described herself as a firm person who stands up for anything which is right, and this perspective was a considerable feature of her during her lifetime. And by this attitude, she educated at Oxford and entered the political world. As she said, her strategy was based on three phases. First, find the fact, then try to find the reason, after that, propound the policy. She described herself as a workaholic person. Therefore, resistance and being industrious were considerable psychological features of Thatcher. During her interviews, she believed two factors, including conviction and dedication for paving the political path in her life. She believed a free society based on capitalism and criticized socialism and said that tax will cause to decrease the financial gaps between the poverty and wealth, and the distribution of wealth through raising tax could be a fundamental matter for society. Thatcher said that our convictions are the right convictions and tried to persuade people to advocate her policies. She transformed the economic system of England in order to consolidate the principles of capitalism. Progressing from an ordinary family to prime minister illustrated her determination to become a successful person in her life. Actually, she could transform the female situation in political world and was known as an Iron Lady. She illustrated that women could be as tough as male politicians and confirmed her determination facing satirists. Thatcher showed politicians along with intellectual forces could lead the society to overcome different pitfalls. She expressed that there were two ways for English society, which were capitalism and socialism. But the negative points of the latter was enormous, and people would be deprived of free enterprise, freedom of speech, and different obstacles would be against flourishing humans. Nonetheless, capitalism and taxing could be beneficial to the economy. As a result, she followed the neoliberal policies in order to defeat socialist policies, which were the enemy of the economic development. Actually, her strong policy made her the best option for prime minister who pursued these kinds of the policies. But how she became a strong person? According to psychologists, we should analyze the past life of individuals in order to find the answer of this question. From psychological perspective, she was tough because she didn't experience welfare during childhood and her parents were restricted financially. As a result, although she came from a low middle-class family, she familiarized with poverty and didn't believe the welfare state for citizens. Instead, individuals' efforts mattered rather than governmental supports. Regardless of the rightness or inaccuracy of her policy, as a female politician, she exposed how to be determined against the mass opposition and criticism. Thatcher's mindset was based on individual power rather than governmental support. Her policies were known as Thatcherism, which was a form of conservative ideology unrelated to political platform and her personality that affected the style of her management. However, Thatcherism was a socio-economic movement, now neoliberalism, to emphasize free markets. This framework emerged as a response to the social democratic policy and a way to reducing government intervention and advocating for privatization of state-owned industries. In social arena, it was an effort to revive the traditions of family and the restrictions of labor union powers. During her tenure, the strong military response to the Argentina invasion of Falkland Islands expressed her strong leadership. Actually, she tried to elevate England's situation in Europe and in the world through fighting against communism and preserving England's colonies, and became a pattern for other prime ministers. And said, I shall never stop fighting. I'm in this country to survive, to prosper, to be free. I haven't fought the destruction forces of socialism for more than 20 years in order to stop now, when the critical phase of a struggle is upon us. She believed the independence of individuals from the state, and she was concerned about the abuse of the system and the culture of dependency. Therefore, the role of government was to stand out of the waves, and people could regulate their own businesses and lives, and the government should only be involved in national defense and currency. Thatcher worked to privatize state-owned industries and public services such as televisions, radio, water, gas, and electricity. She encouraged the growth of free markets, political and economic freedom. Nonetheless, she has been criticized for ignoring social justice and banning homosexuality in schools and gay marriage. Despite these critics, she tried to consolidate conventional family in order to improve the society. Also, she was criticized because of ignorance of women's rights. We can conclude that she followed the traditional principles in social and economic arena, which preserved traditional order in English society. Her main quotes were considerable, and we spent on them to know her personality vividly. She said that, I place a profound belief, indeed a fervent faith, in the virtues of self-reliance and personal independence. This is founded the whole case for the free society, for the assertion that human progress is best achieved by offering the freest possible scope for the development of individuals' talents, qualified only by a respect for the qualities and the freedoms of others. She also said, I love argument, I love debate. I don't expect anyone just to sit there and agree with me. That's not their job. She defined success and said, what is success? I think it is a mixture of having a flair for the thing that you are doing, knowing that it isn't enough, that you have got to have a hard work and a certain sense of purpose. Therefore, for becoming a successful politician, Thatcher suggested that you should work hard and have a purpose. For more ideas on the psychology of politicians, make sure you subscribe to this channel and click the bell icon and like icon. Please write your comments and tell me your favorite politicians to make video about them. Thank you for watching this video.